Welcome to the Big O Show.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Big O Show podcast. I'm your host, as always, Ryan Anka. If you're new to the show, you can tune in to the Big O Show every Monday morning for a quick little inspirational message, and then tune back in on Wednesday for a midweek sports update. Also, I just announced that I'm recently going to start interviewing, having special interviews with people in athletics somewhere, either at the high school, college, or professional ranks. Starting every other Tuesday, so really excited about that. And if you haven't already, please rate, subscribe, and share this podcast with a friend that you think may find any value in it. And also be sure to like the Big O Show Facebook page, as I've been posting more content on there and been trying to grow that page as well. I appreciate y'all's support as always. Now let's go ahead and jump into today's message.
Let me know, let me know, let me know, yeah. Let me know. Let me know.
So when I was debating about what I should talk about this week, something that kept reoccurring in my head was a sermon that I recently heard from my pastor about the miracle of Jesus walking on water, and how Jesus called out to one of his disciples to walk out there with him, but it took a level of commitment, a level of trust, and a level of faith in that person, in Jesus, that was calling him to walk out there. And when he lost sight of that faith, he started to sink. And what that did, that whole story, right, not to get on a huge religious kick, but just to set up what I'm about to tell you guys. And what it did, it triggered this story back to my senior year in college, when my head coach, Coach Joey Jones at South Alabama, gave us this story about, are you in the boat or are you out the boat? And just to give you guys a little backstory here, if you're new to the podcast, I did play college football at the University of South Alabama. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's a Sunbelt level conference school in the FBS in Mobile, Alabama, which is about an hour away from Pensacola, Florida. So hopefully you know one of those two areas. But anyways, I go to this school. They just had a football program in 2009. That's when they started. I get there in 2010, play 5 years. We're a transitional school. That means we were growing to a Division I program, and actually were the last 3 years that I was there. In the last 2 years, we were a bowl-eligible team. But something that was a reoccurring theme at South was we couldn't get over the hump. We kept getting plateaued at a 500 level team. And one of the things that continued to plague us as a team was commitment. You know, a lot of people could talk, right? A lot of people, they said they were committed to our team, our ultimate goal, our ultimate success, but they weren't really committed. And it took until one of our last games of my senior year, we were playing Texas State. And this happened at a Sunday team meeting, right? The week leading up to Texas State, we would always have our team meetings, game plan meetings, kind of review the last week's game and preview what was ahead. So in this meeting, our head coach gave us this story, gave us this talk about people being in the boat or out the boat. And what he meant by it was, you're either going to be in the boat as it goes towards our destination, and as we all row towards the same goal, or you can get out the boat. Because if you're in the boat and you're not helping us, you're actually hurting us. You're taking up a spot, you're taking up space, and you're weighing us down. So you're either going to fully commit or you're going to get out. And like I said, I'm no way comparing my head coach to Jesus. I was just telling you what sparked the story in my head. And the story also brought me to this week's quote that comes from Jim Rohn, and it says, "Motivation is what gets you started. Commitment is what keeps you going." And I think it's pretty easy to tell. You're not going to be ultra successful. You're not going to make it even to college football if you're not a motivated person, right? But what gets you ultimately successful is commitment. And like I said, that's something that we were missing. A lot of people were motivated, maybe for individual reasons, but they weren't committed to the team. They weren't committed to this one singular goal, and that was to win and to get to a bowl game, right? To be a better team than we have ever been. So Texas State game was a huge game, really fun, electric atmosphere. It was a back and forth game. We knew we had to win in order to try to get bowl eligible, to get to a bowl game, to achieve our goal, right? We were on the cusp of it. We were right there. We could taste it. It was so close. We get down to a 4th and goal. We're up by, I think, 4 or 5 points. Texas State has to score a touchdown to win. It's 4th and goal late in the 4th quarter, under a minute to go, and they have the ball, right? The quarterback takes the snap. He rolls out. He rolls left. He rolls right, and he goes to throw the football in the middle of the field to a wide open receiver. When out of nowhere, one of our defenders jumps out and tips the ball away, and it falls incomplete. Ball game. We win. We finally did it. But it took a full team effort. It took a full level of commitment, and it took one singular goal for us to get to that point. And it was one of the best feelings I've ever had while I played football. It was so great, and it was so awesome, but it took so much for us to get to that point. And, I say we as in the players, my friends on the team, we joked all week long about what Coach said and how he said it in a funny way. You in the boat, you're out the boat. And it's still something that we kind of tease with, but what it really did, it galvanized our team. It drew a hard line in the sand to say you're either this or you're that. There's no in between. So I say all that to say this week, I don't know what you're up against or what you're trying to do or be in life, but there's no in between. You're either in the boat or you're out the boat. It's up to you to decide. If you do anything halfway, you're going to get halfway to less than halfway results. So why not be all in? Why not be fully committed to the ultimate goal or to get to where you ultimately want to go? That's the only way to find out if it's worth it. That's the only way to find out if you're really capable of doing what you want or what you think you can do, which I know that everyone that listens to this podcast can do anything they want. They can be as successful as they want because I believe that I can be as successful as I want. And I'm no different than you guys. So I challenge you guys this week to draw that hard line in the sand and really look in the mirror and determine your commitment. You're either in or you're out. Go out and make today the best day of your life. I'll talk to you guys soon.